right. Happy 4th of July. If you're not hearing it from outside my door, you can hear some boom, boom. That is fireworks already going off. In my area, they've been doing it for several months. I say they started, in February? Yes. Some cases, they fire fireworks off early in February. Well, actually, they fire the fireworks on and off throughout the entire year, but before 4th of July, they'll start firing it off a little bit, and then it grow until we hit the 4th. Just how they are in this area. But I have to apologize. Well, not really, I don't have to apologize, because I did say that if I could not do the video, I would do it the next day. Which is the next day. It's like about 8-something in the morning. And here is your Impact review. This show hypes me for Slammiversary. It's not a great hype. But I am interested way more than I would be for Evolution. For, let's say, for Saturday Night's Main Event. Or even the Great American Bash. And understand, I am doing the Great American Bash. I am not going to do Saturday Night's Main Event. I think I have something to do on that day. So I will be doing the Great American Bash only. And then the next day, I'll do the review for Sunday Night's Main Event. I know that there's a good chance that you're going to have Great American Bash in the day. I will review it. I will record it. But Saturday Night's Main Event, nope, the next day. But I'm more interested right now than I would be for Sunday Night's Main Event or Evolution at all. Great American Bash, I am somewhat interested, but Slammiversary I'm very interested in. Let's start. I'm not going to do the order 4 thing first. I want to do this. Tessa and, well, I got to say this before I get to the match between Inspiration and Tessa and Victoria. Let's make this very clear. I made this very clear many months ago when it came to Tessa Blanchard. I did not agree with their booking. I didn't. If Tessa was meant to be a badass, she should have gone for the entire roster and tried to show her dominance going over everyone, showing that she's willing to put in the work. It's not about her being a bad guy or a good guy. It's not about being a face or a heel. She did that before. The only difference will not be her sex. It'll just be showing how dominant she is, because that's what happened before she was fired. She made it all about her sex, about being a woman, having to show that she had to go through all that, and that was also part of the Me Too movement. And I want to make this clear. I didn't care about that. I would have liked her to either be dominant like Chyna or do the Daniel Bryan route and show as an underdog all her life she had to fight for it. And yes, she is Tully Blanchard's daughter, yes, but she still had to work hard. And that's what I wanted for her. I either wanted her to be a Daniel Bryan type or literally a 1-to-1 copy of Chyna. But we never got either one. Now she comes back. And I hoped that they would try to address some of the problems she has. Now, mind you, they had somewhat. And particularly now with Indy Hartwell, they're actually doing it through her. But at first, I was not liking the booking. Then when Stone and Crawford came in, it was somewhat alright. Now, I'm fine with her booking. I want to make this clear. I'm completely fine with her booking. She's not going for the main title. No. Whoever it was who's been booking her right now made the right call. Let her work with Indy Hartwell to help her get over and to address some of the issues that many people have talked about when it came to her not addressing how she was being a prick to everybody and being racist to everybody, letting Indy be the one who, supposedly in real life, they were friends. It works, and it's good to see. On top of that, working with Victoria Crawford, I know if you have watched how she was when she was with Saraya Page, she doesn't play around with anybody. Let's make it very clear. If she thinks someone is nasty, racist, or prejudiced, or whatever else, she ain't gonna work with you. Let's make that very clear. Victoria don't give 2 fucks. Not that she thinks she's hot shit, which she isn't. Yeah, she's a sexy piece of ass. Even at her age right now, actually. I'm here, she's here. I'm older than she is. If she wanted to be my woman, I'd be incredibly happy, counting if she doesn't drink anymore, which supposedly she straightened her ass out, which is great. I'm happy for her. But she doesn't play around with anybody. So for her to be working with Tessa easily does take away from a lot of the steam that people have been saying, look, she's racist, she's prejudiced, she's rude, she's nasty. Victoria Crawford doesn't play with anyone nicely if they're a piece of shit. So there you go. This is what I wanted. I wanted her to show on TV that she can work with others, that you would think all the talk really didn't make any sense. This was the thing that many people were always going about. Particularly, let's make it very clear, by her never addressing it, never saying I'm sorry, or even doing a half-ass, has perpetuated this. But now most of those people are mostly becoming silent. Most of them, not all. There's always going to be somebody. But at least most of them are gone. So we get the inspiration. Lee and McKay. Guys, I want to say this. We still don't know the full extent of how much that they've changed. We don't. This one match did show me one thing, though. One, yes, they still do the iconic. Yes, they done it. Yes. At least a little bit. But they are more serious, which I like. At least they're not playing around like they used to. They're not being like super sweet girls that want to keep doing this. No. They are acting serious, which is a good thing. But if you look at their attitude when they were working with the Elegance brand, yes, you saw the small little snippet of them arguing between each other. Fine. But when you go in the ring, when you see how they go in the ring, who believes they have been practicing? They haven't. They're very sloppy. Now, let's make this very clear. When they were there last time, the first stint, they at least looked at least enough of a polished team that it didn't look too sloppy or awkward. It's sloppy and awkward here. Now, it could easily be, look, they're both mothers. I believe Lee, I forgot her name. I forgot the first name of Lee. I believe she's had 2 children with Shawn Spears, and the other, McKay. I do believe she's only got 1. But it's obvious, it's been 3 years, but they're not in great shape. Physically, they're not that strong. Let's make it very clear. They were never very strong when they were Inspiration before they both got pregnant. But I'm going to be honest here. When you saw most of the work done, particularly when it came to Victoria Crawford, them lifting her up, or let's say that Lee, I'm going to keep calling him Lee because I keep forgetting. I'll remember the names eventually, but it has been 3 years. Give me a break, I'm bad with names. But let's make it very clear. Shawn Spears' wife is not strong at all. She was working with Tessa and she could barely lift her to even do a snap suplex. And then when you saw both of them pick up Victoria, and the only thing they had to do was just slam her, they couldn't even lift her halfway up their waist. They had to lift her up all the way up to at least their necks to make it look alright, and they could barely lift her up to slam her. That shows you, strength training wise, they are bad. I'm worried. This is not about they're shitty, they stink, they can never wrestle. This is not about that, guys. For me personally, until I see them look more capable in the ring, I'm actually concerned. When wrestlers go in the ring and then they leave for a while, particularly if they have children or if they get an injury, and they come back, one of the problems they have is strength. Not saying they haven't exercised or anything, but actually lifting up a wrestler full tilt while you're working, and then you get tanked. Because every wrestler eventually gets tanked. There is no denying it. No matter if you're the biggest guy who got this, or the smallest or biggest woman, if you're coming back in the ring after either having a child or if you got an injury, you have to go full tilt in that ring to make it look good, and you get tanked easily, And if you don't have a lot of strength training, or better yet, stamina training to go with it, and of course, I agree with Matthew Rinwall, it makes no difference how much strength training or stamina training you do until you go in that ring. You never know. But, and this is the big but that's not talked about, there's still an importance on making sure when you're about to go back into that ring that you do make sure you do some level of strength training, some level of trying to do your cardio. And I don't believe either one of these women have done it. Yeah, they trained. There's no obviously any question that most of their work in the ring, when it came to McKay, when it came to Lee, they fine. They don't look like they're 100% trash in the ring. But it is obvious they're sloppy, mostly due to the fact they just do not have a lot of strength. I'm sorry. I'm worried that they're going to hurt themselves or somebody else. Unlike anybody else saying, oh, these women fucking suck. They're trash. I'm not going there. Look, I've checked some of the moves they've done. They have some good timing. And that's understandable if it's sloppy at first because they have not gone in the ring full tilt all the time. They're going to be practicing to try and keep their stamina up, to keep their muscle tone up, to keep their strength up. But when you go full tilt, and at least you have to have some level of strength training. If you don't got it, you're going to hurt somebody. And no matter what anybody says, if they hate them like crazy or if they love them, I am being objective. I'm worried that they just do not have enough strength to do regular moves. They know how to do the moves. They know how to make sure they time them right, but they don't have a lot of strength. And it's not good. They need to start bulking up and getting a little more stronger than what they are now. Now, it could easily be because they have not gone in a ring for 3 years. But until I see them constantly going in the ring, from whatever recordings and whatever TNA Plus shows or pay-per-views they do, if they don't improve, I am worried that someone is seriously going to get injured because of their sloppiness, due to the fact they did not train hard enough for strength. If they can't do a normal snap suplex without looking like they got to strain so heavily just to lift the person up, they're going to drop them on their damn heads, counting if they don't hurt themselves while doing it. But this is just me. Of course, you had to have Indy Hartwell and Tessa mess with one another because that's the real story. It's not about the inspiration dealing with Crawford and Tessa. It's not. It's more about getting the story between Indy and Tessa off the ground, which it has. And this is actually a feud I am interested to watch. Not only do they have real history, it's going to count on how they're going to book not just Indy, but Tessa. Remember, like I said earlier, Tessa has had years of her having heavy criticism, whether she deserved it or not. And she never addressed it. She just left it, stayed quiet, and it hurt her. Now, you can address it here by doing it through the story. Indy wouldn't work with her that well if she can't hate a gut, if she hates a gut in real life. Look what happened with Jordan Grace. Yes, she did the job, but she didn't want to. Victoria Crawford would not work with anyone that she feels is racist or prejudiced. She's not that way. She just isn't. You can say a lot about Alicia Fox. Yes, you could say she can't wrestle. She was just a model. She's just that, and you just want to screw her and stuff like that. Yes, I know, but she still worked nearly a little more, over 20 years in the business. And she has done generally good work in the ring, whether you like that she can't speak well in the mic or she doesn't look 100% the way you want her. She knows how to work the business. And she would not work with her if she feels that she's prejudiced. Simple as that. I had to say that. Moving on. Next match, Eddie Edwards versus Matt Cardona. Now, this is where it's coming to for me personally. If you take away what happened with Dark State, this feels like there's going to be a story between Matt Cardona and Brian Myers eventually. That's what I'm seeing. Brian and Matt are going to have a match against each other sooner or later. Matt has doesn't give two damn flips about the system, and either he's trying to convince Bryan to leave it, or Bryan is going to reach a point where he's going to have to make a decision. Is it going to be Matt, or it's going to be the system? Either he'll join him, or he's going to stab him in the back, and they will have their feud. That I get. The match itself was fine. But then you threw Dark State in. Now, here's the thing. I have not denied this. I have not said nothing to change my mind. Dark State sucks. I'm sorry. On NXT, it just doesn't work. It's not working for me. They're not doing anything. They're a bite off of either the Shield mixed with some of the Nexus. But it's mainly Shield. And it doesn't feel like it's working. Because none of them are getting over. Not one. The only one that looked like that could is Cutler. Maybe. And then Lennox. But then they're not doing anything to spotlight them. So they feel like empty space. Now you see them here. If this was not an attack on Matt Cardona, if they just went after anybody other than Matt, I would say, you know what? This is a wise idea to put Dark State on TNA TV. Because they really don't have a large faction that causes trouble other than the system. So seeing Dark State there is fine. But I don't agree them going to destroy Matt. Why didn't they go after anyone in the back? Why didn't they just rush down and attack Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers as well? They don't care who they attack. They attack anyone. They attack everyone. And they could have terrified Alicia. And then you could have Dark State go up against the system. And then a question mark about Matt Cardona trying to convince Bryan to join him and just leave the system to whatever is going on. It just doesn't feel right. And particularly, that was the only attack. It would have been good if you saw them attack somebody else. I didn't see that as far as I can tell, unless I missed part of it. You guys tell me below. I just don't agree. Next, Max Warner versus Jake something. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You got Macklin there. He's talking on commentary. Both of them are trying to challenge each other so they can go up against Macklin. But once you saw that Mace Warner was messing with, well, when you saw them both started to talk to him, and I'm thinking, okay, Mace Warner is basically jobbing to Steve Macklin. Then you see Jake something staring at him doing the same thing. This has got to be a triple threat. And now it is. Because now, do I believe it's the wisest thing to do? To make this into a triple threat. It's the only thing they got. To be honest, when it comes to Steve Macklin, they need to give him fresh meat to grind through. With this new title, yes, he's a former TNA champion. A former Impact champion, if you want to make it like that. He's a former TNA champion. And it makes sense to put him over with a new title where he can raise that title with he's here, he can bring that bitch up to here to his own level. And as he's trying to grind through the roster or grind through people maybe from NXT, maybe from outside, which would be great if you get more people from the outside that have a recognizable name they can go up against, which if he beats them can raise the bar on the International Championship, which they need to give it some prestige. But it's pretty obvious. That's all they can do right now. Going into Slammiversary, we're going to have a triple threat between Steve Macklin, Jake something, and Mace Warner. That's not bad. Am I interested? Yes, I want to see how far they're going to push that match to bring up Macklin, who is here, and the title's roughly about here. They're going to raise him here, and then raise the title here to make it more prestigious. And it's important that they have to have somebody that's ready for him in the wings after that match. He's got to have his next challenger. That isn't like an Eric Young, which I'm going to talk about now. The Northern Armory. Icarus Williams. They got told off by a... Look, I'm going to be honest. Do I feel Icarus? No. Him staring off like... did not fill me with a lot of confidence. Now, mind you, if he has a problem seeing, I can understand that. If he has a problem with his vision, I get it. Just like with Crazy Steve, he has problems hearing. If he has a problem seeing things, that he might be legally blind like Crazy Steve, and somewhat hard of hearing, I'm like, I get it. If he's not, he's fine. I don't like that blank stare-ish look. I just don't. Icarus just doesn't feel like anything. When it came to Williams, I'm alright with. He does feel like he could be substantial. But like I said before, they've been basically henchmen, and I'm not feeling it. And it's pissing me off. I'm sorry, it is pissing me off. I'm just not feeling it. And I'm going like, alright. What do we got here? Why are we getting this here? Yeah, he's told them, you better show me that you mean this, or I'm going to get rid of you and I'm going to treat you like everybody else. But I don't feel them because they don't talk. I don't feel them because they're not presented without Eric Young, who is their mouthpiece, but then is nothing. They're nothing without him. And I'm like, they got to do something. Now, this match I did not want to do as a second match. I want to say something about it here. Marsha Slam. This is the thing that's irking me. I understand that Ash won. She's got her title shot at Slammiversary, but I'm being honest here. I would rather see this match at Slammiversary. A chain match between Marsha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. This pissed me off. You wouldn't let her in that competition to win and go up against Marsha and build into it with this match in mind. Now, I'm not going to tell you it was a perfect... Well, you guys tell me below. A normal chain match usually would have a strap that you basically, it would have Velcro on it and a strap, and that would be it. Who was the one that decided? I don't know who the fuck it was. With this chain match, instead of just having a strap that could have Velcro on it, or a tie or something, you decide to put vinyl, what is it? No, not vinyl, but plastic clips, like the ones you would have on a backpack, and clip it on there, and it's roughly about this far off their wrists, and you're having them in a match where these women could pop each other in the eye with the damn thing and really hurt one another, compared to what the match would normally do. Instead of just having a wrist thing that would just zip, or a Velcro, you use a clip, plastic clip, one of those plastic clip-ons that go tick. Why? I don't think I got a picture of it. If I do, I'm going to put it in my face. Or maybe I might go back to a replay and see if I can get a close-up of it, because it's bullshit. Either one of them could have hurt each other seriously with that shit. And it pissed me off as the match went on, because they couldn't even throw regular punches at each other because these things were so far off, they couldn't go into that. They would have hit each other in the face with the plastic. So they had to try and hit each other here, and with the chain, it made it so awkward. Now, was it a bad match? No. Now, mind you, Killer Kelly does look a little rusty. A little. I'm not going to lie about that. I've always loved Killer Kelly. She's a gorgeous woman. Gorgeous. I'm happy that she has a man. I'm happy she's got a baby. She's a freaking gorgeous woman. But she's sloppy a little bit. Due to the fact she hasn't been in a ring for a while, she looks a bit sloppy. But it didn't hurt the match. Neither did Marsha. Both of them seemed to slide right back into the type of style they both usually did when they were facing one another. Now, it doesn't look like there were a couple of moments it was a bit awkward, like a little telegraph. Of course it did. There's no way you can be 100% spontaneous wearing a chain on your wrist that has a little plastic clip instead of like a Velcro thing. I'm sorry. It pisses me off that people can get hurt way more than they should because of stupidness, like putting something into an accessory that should never had it. It was stupid. But the match was good. And Killer Kelly got her ass choked out. I think I'll throw that pictures in there. That picture. If I couldn't find the clip one, I'll throw that one in there. Fine. She won. Now, what happened afterward with Fatal Influence coming out, beating the crap out of him. Then you got Zaya Brookside. Then you got Ling Lang Lee, who both came out to try and save Marsha. Fine. So we get Ash, who's coming at Slammiversary. Then we're getting her next challenger, which is JC James, which is good. And then when it comes to Xia Brookside and Ling Yang Lee, they're going to be facing probably Fallon and Jasmine in a match, which is perfectly fine. That shows they are giving us something. Hopefully, we'll get that match. Do I believe it's going to be great? It's not the point. It is something that will give us something that's leading into something. They're just extra. Now, let me see here. Let's get to one of the things that we need to just get it over with quickly. Cody Deaner with his face uncovered because Eric Young got pissed off that the hometown man who's not from let's make it very clear. Is Cody doing good work here? Yes, he is. Wearing that mask, saying he's a hometown man. He's not from Arizona. He's not from Pittsburgh. It's fine. I'm all right with it. They are doing something with Cody. Sorry, my allergies. Ugh. Making my eyes get stuff in it. Ugh. But essentially speaking, I'm perfectly fine with Cody being the hometown man. They're giving him something. They're giving us something. People like Cody. They like the hometown man. He's a comedic wrestler that is getting over, and there's no problem. And sooner or later, you're going to have Eric going against Cody again. That's all right. But the big question is going to be, how far are they going to push Cody? Is he just going to be doing little bits here, little bits there? Or are they going to push him like a Santino Marella back in WWE, where he could actually become something special that could eventually have him no longer wear the mask, and people will love Cody again as just plain Cody. That's just me. Moving on. All right. I loved this segment. Do I think it was perfect? No. But I loved this segment. We get the King's Speech. Joe Henry, Trick Williams, and Santana. I really loved Santana's video. I did. I felt he made it very clear and poignant. Look, I am here. You want something. You're not gaining anything. You're not entitled to anything. You got to earn it. And I earned that shit. And I have now the right, because of everyone screaming for it, I get a triple threat match. And it led to the King's Speech. Do I like the King's Speech? I'm not going to tell you that Kaz can't make it work. I'm not going to tell you that. It's just it needs time to grow on me. Do I believe it's a bite off of Miz? No, because he was doing it many, many years ago when he was with Christopher Daniels. They did segments like that. It's just they didn't call it something like that. When it came to, oh man, I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Bad Attitude or Bad Influence. I think that was the name between Kaz and Kaz and Christopher Daniels. Bad Influence. Not Fatal Influence. Bad Influence. I believe that's the one. I love their music. That's one of the few songs from the old TNA I just loved. But he's done it before. And it wasn't bad. And he let everyone speak and do what they need to do. And he gave them all the time they needed to try to chew each other out and do whatever they had to. Then we got the fight. Then it looks like they're going to try and set up what's going to happen with not Trick, but more Santana and Joe, because they're going to have a match against, who are they going up against? I can't remember right now. But next week they are going to have a match. They're going to be up against somebody. I just don't remember who. But they're going to have their match. Fine. Okay. Did it do what it needed to do to get Trick over? Yes, it did. Am I interested in this fatal... it's not going to be a fatal four-way because Kaz is not going to be involved in it. But this three-way dance, is it going to be interesting? Yes. I had to stop. It was about to click over. I'm hyped for this because Joe is very over. Trick is very over. And so is Santana very over. You got three guys in the main title picture compared to what's going on in WWE, which has been the same guys constantly over and over and over and over and over again. And AEW, which is the same guys over and over again, to a certain extent, not booked perfectly. Here, you can't say the booking's been good enough that you're hyped for it. But this is the last one I'm going to talk about, and this is The rematch. And I think that might be the title of this video. The rematch. We got Order 4 coming out. You get Tasha saying the reason why she called Cedric. And the reason why he had to come. And she called them both out. And I got to tell you this. I like Cedric's music. Saying, they call me Prime. It makes me think of Optimus Prime. The guy I love like a father. And that's what I think every time when I hear that song. And then we get both of them coming out. Cedric saying it very clear to Ali, I am not here to start a fight with you. I'm here because you're my friend. Do you remember 205 Live? Remember that we're the ones who held that shit down. At least he didn't say until it got basically axed. But we were the one that made it special. Look, we went to WrestleMania. John Cena gave us a standing ovation. He came up and just went like this. That's what he was trying to say. Saying that we did such a good work. We moved John Cena, a multiple-time champion. It was me. It was you. Ow. Oh, I got to be careful. My back is still kind of messed up. We're the ones that made it so special. This is not the way you are. This isn't you. And then the minute he was finished, you see Ali saying, I don't want shit from you. You took away from me my title of 205 Live. You took away my WrestleMania moment. And I never got my rematch at WrestleMania. You know what? Fuck this. I want a WrestleMania match. Slammiversary, me versus you. No title. I want to prove how good I am. And then we get to fight. And the Secret Service tried to not just jump, etc., tried to destroy him. And then the Order 4 saved him. Of course, Tasha didn't get involved. It would have been interesting if she did, but of course she isn't there because there were no women. But now we have this situation. I remember that match they both had. Not many people really cared a huge amount about it unless you were diehard fans of Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. Now, I saw the match. As I've always said, I'm not a big fan of high-flying wrestling all the time. I like a real story. But let's make it very clear. These two guys, compared to what they did in WrestleMania, are completely different. They both went through the WWE system. And they both learned it's not about every single move being so high-spotty, but actually trying to create a story that you can legitimately care about. It's not about just jumping, doing every flip, every kick, and every hard hit. They can show emotion now. Both of them can. When you saw Cedric in the Hurt Business, he showed not just how good he was in the ring, but he could do emotion. When he was in NXT, he wasn't perfect there, but he could show he can basically bring out emotion in another person as well as himself. Not perfectly, but he could. And then you look at what's been going on with Mustafa Ali for the last year and a half when he was with the company, went away from the company. I'm talking about TNA. He has shown he could be a great heel with a great range of, bring out the emotion in people. So now you got two guys that could literally be a sleeper hit. I don't know about anybody else. But because they have so much history, because both of them have gone through the system and learned how to show emotion. And yes, I know with Mustafa Ali, I could talk about that terrible storyline that Vince gave him. No, I'm not talking about it. It doesn't need to be talked about. Even though he did great work in it, it sucked. Here is where both these guys can truly shine and could make the show. Slammiversary may not be about the triple threat. It may be a sleeper hit with these two guys, not just because they both are great high flyers, but because they now can tell a story with high flying and they got a real history that culminated in 205 Live, in a title in 205 Live, and guess what? It culminated in WrestleMania with a standing ovation by John Cena himself. So this will be very interesting. I'm actually hyped for this. Am I hyped for AEW as much in All In? Not really. Partially, yes. Am I hyped for Evolution? No, there's nothing there yet. Am I hyped for Saturday night's main event? No, not really. But here, yes. And it's a good, and I'm going to give them credit as credit's due. Okay? As I've said before, and I'll say it again, if they do shit in wrestling, I will tell you. If they've done great in wrestling, I will. Basically, the storylines here have been done very well. The creative control here, I don't know if Ali's got creative control or Cedric. I don't even know how long Cedric is going to be there. He may just head over to AEW and join the Hurt Syndicate within a couple of months. But at this point right now, I don't know if he signed a contract. You're going to say, dude, don't you know he signed? I don't know. I didn't check. If you want to say he signed a contract, fine, you can. But as far as I can tell, he's not signed yet. I could be wrong. But the point here is, when it comes to creative, they have done a good job building into the Slammiversary. Way better than what they've done over the last couple of years. Last couple of years, there's always been half-ass booking, half-ass storytelling, or no storytelling. And the only thing that could make the Slammiversary show, or Bound for Glory, for that matter, really work, has always been the damn wrestling. People love the wrestling, but they've been wanting more better writing. And here, it may not be perfect writing. It isn't. But at least it's good enough for writing that now people are interested. Look, have you noticed? People have now been complaining about WWE. They've been complaining about AEW. Look at JD. He's been complaining about it, but he said on stream when he was doing Dynamite with Jesse that TNA is the only one no one's been complaining about. You know why? They're doing basic, straightforward booking that they should have been doing for years ago. But they never could, or never wanted to. Either one. But this is just me. Peace.